Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to be doing a quick booty day workout. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I strongly advise that you do because I'm going to be targeting specific muscle groups throughout the entire week. So today is booty day. All we need is a set of dumbbells and a mat and yourself. Let's begin. All right, so we're just going to get through a nice quick warm up. So first we're going to start with some reverse lunges. So you can have your hands on your hips or right in front of you. Make sure that when you take a step back, you're sitting into that front heel. So I'm going to have my hands just right over here. It helps me with my balance. I also want you to make sure that this knee that's in front is not caving in. So always make sure that you're pushing it away. Keep that core tight. Keep that pelvis forward. Focus on that exhale. Make sure all the power is going in through that heel. Good. Let's do a couple more. Right, shake it out. Let's get those hip flexors. So I'm gonna have my hands on my hips. We're just gonna open the hips one by one. Keep that core tight. If you need to hold on to a wall while you're doing this exercise, that's totally okay. Or maybe a chair if you have one. All right. Good. Let's go the other way now, where we're doing the internal rotation. Good. Keeping that core nice and tight, controlling the movement. We're not trying to speed through this. Woo, already feeling warm. All right. Then we're going to get into some side steps here. So from side to side. We want to add those arms. We do bicep curls. Just getting our body nice and warm. All right, keep that chest proud. All right, who's ready for the first exercise? We're gonna be using the dumbbells. They're called Dumbbell Deadlifts. So as you're picking them up, just make sure you have a nice flat back. You're sitting into those heels and coming on up. So you want the dumbbells to be always close to your body no matter what. So first things first, we're gonna set the shoulders back, bring that pelvis forward so we're not curving our lower back whatsoever. So bring that pelvis forward. You want your feet to be at about shoulder width apart, holding on tight, and we're gonna tuck in the chin and just bring our butts to the back of the room until you feel that stretch in the hamstring. And then you're gonna come on up and squeeze the glutes. So notice how I'm keeping my chin tucked in at all times. I want you to try to maintain that positioning with your chin at all times and always squeezing your glutes at the top. Woo! This is 4. We're gonna hit 5 right now. We're halfway. We're doing 10 reps. Try to feel that nice stretch in your hamstrings. As you're going back, you really wanna bring your bum to the back of the room, almost like you have a resistance band around your hips and someone's pulling you back. You are free to curl your toes up if you need. Let's do one more. Don't let those shoulders roll forward. So if you want to take a rest, you can put the weights down. Again, making sure that your core is nice and strong as you pick up the weights. So as you're doing this, remember, keeping the shoulder blades back. And then as you're going back, notice how my hips go forward. See, I can even bring my toes up. So that's the idea. Make sure that you're keeping your core nice and strong. So let's do another 10. Take it up nice and safe. I'm gonna face the camera now. So I wanted to show you a front view. So shoulder width apart, the toes are slightly flared out, and I'm gonna stick my bum backwards. And then I come on up and I keep my chin tucked in at all times. Try to feel that nice stretch in the hamstring as you're going down. And then squeeze that stretch as you're coming up. Control this movement. You don't want your shoulders to roll forward whatsoever. Focus on that control. Squeeze. Ooh. A nice proud chest at the top. Give me 2 more here. 1, last squeeze. So last stretch here and squeeze. Hold. Good job. We're gonna do it one more time. I want you to take a quick little rest. If you need to give yourself some butt kicks just to get that heart rate up, keep that body, the blood flowing. Use those arms. What I want to do is make sure that when we're going down into that deadlift, that we're stretching that muscle here, this hamstring right here. We're stretching it, getting that nice stretch, and then when you're coming up, really feel that squeeze. You're bringing the hips forward. So let's go. Last one. Set the shoulders back. We're picking them up nice and safe, and let's begin. So sticking our butts back to the room, keeping that chin tucked in, and come on up. You want to keep a nice flat back. So your lower back is not curving whatsoever. So you want to bring that belly button right into the spine. Deep inhale on the way down. Exhale on the way up. Good. Do another 5 more. Keeping that back nice and strong. Shoulder blades are intact. Squeezing the shoulder blades, keeping that nice proud chest, keeping that chin tucked in. Give me 2 more. Woo. Last one. Good. Woo. Feel that squeeze. All right. I'm going to put one weight down, and I want you to hold your dumbbell in a horizontal position. So we're going to be doing some side lunges. So I'm going to show you from a front view. So we keep that chest nice and proud. You're going to step off to the side. Once you plant your foot, you're going to sit into that one glute. If you have ankle restrictions, if your ankle doesn't allow you to move, then go ahead and bring that toe up. All right, so proud chest, we sit down and come on up. We're going to focus on one side. So I want you to get 10 each. Really keeping that core nice and tight, making sure that we're not curving our lower back. If you can't go that deep, that's fine. You're trying to find that feeling in the glute. Press through the heel on the way up. Woo! Oh. You're allowed to lean over a little bit with this one, so that way you can get a little bit more range. Let's go to the other side now, planting that foot, and make sure that we're sitting into our heel. So we don't want to feel this in our knees whatsoever. If you find you're starting to feel this in your knees, that means your knees are too far over the toes. So you got to stick your butt back a little bit more. Good. Keep that squeeze in the glute. We're sitting it and we're squeezing at the top. Woo. Last one. Good. Go ahead. Take a rest if you need it. Grab some water. So I'm going to show you a side view now. As we're getting ready, you don't have to worry if you're grabbing your water. So you don't want to be too wide because you want to allow for when you're going down, you want that stretch to start happening, not at the top, but on the way down. So I'm going to plant my feet just a little bit wider than shoulder width, set my shoulders back, keeping that core nice and tight. And then I sit back and then my thigh is parallel to the ground. So are you with me? Let's get 10 on this side. 1, 2. Try to sit your bum back as far back as you can without falling over, obviously. Keeping that core nice and tight. 4. Good. Squeezing the glutes at the top. Almost there. 2 more. Woo. Let the glutes do the work, baby. Keep that core tight. Nice work. I'm going to face this way now. And we're going to do this side. All right. You with me? Let's get 10 on this side. So down and up. You might need to adjust as you go, but after the 3rd rep, you should be planted properly, if not the 2nd rep. Keep that core tight. Great job. We're almost there. Woo, keep that core tight. Last one. Woo. All right, put that weight down. You want to make sure that every time you're putting your weights down, every time you're picking them up, you got to keep that core braced at all times. We don't want to drop the weight. We don't want to get too crazy. We just want to come nice and close, pick it up, and we're good to go. So we're going to do one more. I'm going to face. If you want to do this without any weights whatsoever, that's totally fine. Hands on hips, wherever you want, wherever's comfortable. So let's go. Nice and close, grabbing the weight. Bring it nice and close to the chest, proud chest. I'm gonna start going off onto my right side. So sit, and again, if you need that extra support or relief from the ankle, just point that toe up. Good. Sometimes you'll need to adjust as you go. Stick your butt back. Keep that core tight. Try to control this move. Woo. One more. Let's go. Woo. All right, other side. So I'm gonna adjust, make sure that my knees and toes are aligned. So I wanna make sure when I look down, the toes are slightly facing back away in a flared position. So that way the knee happens to be aligned when you're on the bottom position. Try not to lock your knees in place. You just really want to squeeze at the top. One more. Good. That is it. Let's put our weight down. Really want to make sure you grab your water now while we're at it. We're going to lie down on the mat and we're going to do some marches. So glute bridge marches. We want to sit into a lower position. So in a glute bridge position. And you're gonna dig your heels into the ground, okay? When you raise your glutes up in the air, I want you to imagine that you have a bowl on your hips, and whatever's in the bowl, you wanna spill on your face. I know that sounds funny, but when you imagine that, that really engages your glutes and your hamstrings at the same time, rather than engaging your lower back, which is not what you want. All right, so imaginary bowl. When we have our glutes up, we feel the squeeze. And then you can rest your elbows on the ground or have your arms completely straight. And we're just gonna bring one leg up and then the other leg. Control this movement, and always you wanna press your heel into the ground, whichever heel is on the ground. Woo! Keep that core tight. Get 5 more each. 2. Keep those hips up. Keep spilling whatever's in your bowl. Keep that core tight. And we got one more here. Woo! I'm feeling that nice squeeze in my glutes and in my hamstring. So let's quickly relax for a second. You can give yourself a nice stretch if you need to. We're gonna do it again. And you still want to focus on that control. Don't lose your core. Don't lose your bowl when you're doing this exercise. So really focus. Sometimes I like to have my elbows just on the ground rather than having it completely straight. I feel more supported, but it's completely up to you. So I'm going to try it this way this time and see if that helps. Yeah. Helps me. Digging your heels into the ground at all times. Good. Keep spilling that bowl. Nice. So by using one leg, you're isolating one side of your glute. So really make it count when you're doing that. So what I mean by that is I really want to dig my heel into the ground. I really want to keep my core nice and tight. Spilling that bowl. You don't want to feel this in your lower back. Give me one more. Woo! All right, relax. Give yourself a big hug, even maybe a roll from one side to the other. So what I mean by spilling the bowl, again, I'm gonna show you quickly while you're resting. Rather than coming up like this and seeing that curve, we come on up and it's gonna limit your range of motion here, and that's okay, because we're not trying to get as high as possible. We just literally wanna protect our lower back here. So again, I'm gonna show you, let's dig both of our heels into the ground. We're gonna begin for our last set. Come on up, feel that squeeze only in the glutes. And then we're gonna start march, march. Good. So I feel my hamstrings are activating. That means my glutes are tired. And my hamstrings now have to recruit, which is good. That means we're doing it right. Keep those hips up. Almost there. Focus on that control. Woo. Give me one more each. 1 and 1. Focus on the squeeze and relax. Give yourself another hug. All right. Woo. Let's go. Gonna get into another exercise here, the donkey kicks. But there are extra variations I wanted to show you, but first we're gonna target just the fundamentals of the donkey kick. So you don't want your stomach to fall down. So we need to correct that. I want you to keep a nice flat back so you keep that belly button tucked up into the spine. So imagine if you took your belly button and you tied it into your spine. So shoulders are all stacked over the wrist. Set the shoulder blades back. And then we're gonna begin one donkey kick movement. So that's the donkey kick finish position. So my foot is flat, my leg is lined up with my hip. The goal will just be to get it a little bit higher, because the more higher it goes, the more activation you feel in the glute. But don't force it. So we want to just come up as much as you can without swinging the movement. Okay, so set the shoulders back, keep a nice neutral neck, and begin this movement and try to seek out the feeling in the glute. Another thing to pay attention to is look at the leg that's on the ground that's holding you up. You don't want it to be on an angle. You want to make sure it's completely straight. Control this move. Good. So 5 more, and then we're going to pulse it at the top. Keep that belly button into the spine. Get me 3 and 2. Keep that foot nice and flat. And 1. Hold, and then little movement here. No swinging. 3, 4, 5. Let's do 5 more. 9, 10. Nice work. So we're gonna go on to the other side. I might as well just turn around so you can see. So again, first things first, set the shoulders back. So when we set our shoulders back, our stomach wants to fall down. So we gotta make sure that is our second point to meet. So setting the shoulders back and then tucking in that core, okay? And then we're gonna begin. So bring in that one leg up and bring it down. Good. Focus on that control. Try to get that knee higher than the glute without dropping the stomach out of the spine. That's what I'm looking for. This is 6. Remember, that foot needs to be completely flat. So our foot's not trying to hit the wall there. It's trying to actually open the ceiling. And then as you come down, you want to feel that nice stretch in the glute, and then come back up, hold. We're going to pulse it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep that control. We're not swinging. Woo! Good. Control. Go ahead and sit back, and you want to feel that stretch. We're going to do it again. Only this time we're going to add. So once we finish our 10 reps, instead of doing pulses, we're going to extend the leg. Okay? So again, setting the shoulder blades back and then making sure we're not leaning into this hip. So you don't want to see your hip this way. You want to completely have the hips nice and straight when we're doing this. So shoulders stacked right over the wrists, and begin. 1, 2. Woo! I'm feeling that nice squeeze. When you're coming down, you want to feel the nice stretch. Nice work. If you want at home and you feel like you could add a little bit more challenge, feel free to grab a band, put it above the knee. All right, this is our last one. Let's hold, and then let's point the toes and extend. Bring it back and extend. We're gonna do this for 10. Try to keep that leg up. Good. Remember, we're not leaning into that hip. Keep that hip nice and controlled. Woo! Nice. Really feel that squeeze. Where do you feel it? I feel it in my hamstrings and in my glutes. Last one. Hold, back up, and then control it on the way down. All right, let's go again, other side. So remember, that foot needs to be completely flat and then down. Good. Nice. I didn't turn around because I wanted to show you from this angle now, just so you could see that my hip is not leaning into its side. We don't want to compensate. We don't want to make this feel easier. We want to feel the challenge. Focus on that squeeze at the top. Let's do 2 more. You can always look down to make sure that you're not leaning, and then point that toe and let's extend. Bring it in and extend. Keeping that core tight. Remember, we don't want to drop it. You really want to feel that squeeze in the glute at all times. So if you don't, you just want to lift that leg up higher, and then you should be able to feel it a little bit more. Woo! All right, control. All right, we got 1 more. This time I want to go on our forearms, and we're just going to do a full kickback variation. So we're going to make sure that the shoulders are out of the ears. We're here, and we come all the way through, and then we bring it in, and then all the way through. And then on our final 10th, we're going to bring it up and just squeeze a little bit more. Everything is completely straight, including the toes. We're pointing the toes at all times. So remember, we're not leaning into that hip. Keep that core tucked in and begin. Extend and then bring it in. Your hips should be doing minimal movement right now. It's just movement at the legs where the hips are, but the hips don't open up when you're doing this. So you keep your hip bones facing the ground. Remember, shoulder blades are strong, keeping them squeezed. Keep that core tucked in. 1 more. And let's do some pulses. No swinging. Woo! 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's control it. I don't know about you, but I even felt the leg that was holding me up. That glute was starting to activate a little bit because our glutes are getting tired, which is a good thing. All right, let's go. All the way, pointing the toes. You might need a moment for your brain to adjust because your brain's so used to doing one side. That's okay. Just whatever you do, don't open up your hips when you're moving your legs. Woo! Make sure that that one leg that's holding you up is not slanted. Good. Woo! 1 more, and then we'll pulse it out. Don't want your core to drop. Straighter the leg, the better. Woo! I feel this. Good. All right, give it a good stretch. All right, back onto our feet here. We're gonna do some curtsy lunges. You don't need a weight. However, if you feel like you need a little bit of an extra challenge, that's totally fine. So with a curtsy lunge, it's basically a reverse lunge when you're going crossed over, okay? So when you're doing this, you wanna be very mindful of the heel that's in front. So always keeping it digged into the ground. And we're gonna come back and then come back forward. We're gonna focus on one side at a time. If you wanna have your hands in front, this helps me with my balance. And it also is just a little bit more comfortable for myself. But find what works for you. Control. So we always want to make sure we're really going slow with these movements. If we try to speed through it, then we're missing out on the entire exercise. You'll get maybe a little bit of benefits, but the idea is to slow it down so all the muscles can be recruited. They're all wanting to be invited to the party. All right, let's go to the other side. And I'm just gonna make sure nothing's behind me. All right, I'm just gonna slide over because my dumbbells are behind me. All right, there we go. I'll count that as 3 now. Remember, keeping the hips forward. So even though we're going down, we're not shifting our hips. Always keeping our hips in front. How you feeling? Keep that core tight. Try to sit into that heel because that generates all the power into that glute. Yeah, and that's what we want. Let's do 1 more. Good. Nice, shake it out. So if you wanted to use a band at home, you just have it above the knees here, and that'll add a little bit more resistance. But this time, let's do another 10 each, except on the 10th one, we're gonna pulse it. We're gonna stay low. So imagining we're on a low ceiling, and when we're doing the pulses, we don't wanna bunk our heads on that mini ceiling, okay? Set the shoulders back, pelvis forward, and let's begin. 1, remember hips forward. 2, the slower you go, the more effective this will be, the more challenging, of course, it'll feel, but you're getting more benefits because all the muscles are being under tension. Woo! Great job. Killing it. Good. Remember, lower back is not curved. Do one more here, and then we're gonna stay low. So 1. Yeah. Try to stay low. Remember that low ceiling. And last one. Woo! Come on up, press through the heel. Good. When you come on up, it's very important. You want to feel it all in that glute there. Okay. So let's begin. Sit into that heel and back. When you step back, it doesn't need to be a far step, just enough to be able to sit into that front heel when you're down. And that is as good as you need to go. Remember, hips need to stay as forward as possible. They're not shifted. Oh yeah, I'm feeling it. Back, keep that core tight. 2 more, and then we stay low. Or I guess technically, yeah, we'll do 1 more. And then, here we go, stay low. 1, 2, so you can have your hands here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Press through the heel, good. So you should not feel any pain in your knees. If you are feeling any pain, that means you're putting too much pressure on the knee. You want to shift the leg back when you're doing your curtsy lunge. So from a side view, quick, you don't have to do this right now, I'm just demoing. When you cross over, look at where my knee is not here. You definitely want to make sure you're paying attention to that. So when you're stepping back, allow your body to step back. You don't have to take such a generous step. So just keep that in mind. If you did feel this in your knees a little bit, that's probably why. And you may have not used your heels as the pressure point. So give it a shot again. We're gonna do it again. Only this time when we come up, tap, side kick. Okay, only if you're able. So we're, again, down, tap the ground, side kick. Try to keep that trunk nice and steady. All right, let's go. So we're crossing over. 1, tap, control. Very important not to swing the legs. So you might feel like your range of motion is a little limited. That is okay, as long as you're feeling that squeeze in that glute. Woo. We're at 5 here. Maybe more because we did the demo, but I'm not gonna count it. So this is 6 and 7. Let's go, 3 more. There is no pulses in this one. Now I notice that the leg that's holding me up feels it a lot more. Last one. Good. Shake it out. Woo-hoo-hoo, I feel that. All right, I'm gonna cross over. Again, if you want your hands here, that's totally fine. I personally like to just have them in front. And whoo, now I really feel it on that side just because it just did some work. So I'm gonna notice that my range of motion is just a little bit smaller than the other time or the other side. That is all right with me. As long as I'm not swinging, as long as I'm keeping my core engaged, everything's all good. Keep those hips forward. Woo! Our last curtsy lunge, so make it count. Nice, sit back. 2 more. 2 more and you can do it. We got 1 more exercise after this. Then you're a free bird. You can do it. Shake it out. All right, let's head to the mat 1 more time. We're gonna do reverse frog pumps. So there is no need for you to swing your legs at all. So I'm actually gonna face because my dumbbells are here. You don't need your dumbbells. So when you want to lie down on your stomach, you're going to bend at your knees, okay? And then you want to try to imagine like you're holding a set of dumbbells. You very well at home could hold a set of dumbbells if you wish, but I'm not going to do that for this video. But if you want, imagine that you're holding something in your feet, okay? If you need to put an extra towel around your hip area because you feel like you're pushing down too much and it is uncomfortable, that's totally fine. You can just roll a nice towel underneath your hips. So I'm just gonna relax my head on the ground. You are free to relax your legs out however way you want. And then notice how my knees are separated. So it's a reverse frog pump. So the goal is to not feel this in your lower back. So you want to tuck in the hips first and then bring your feet up. Good. Just controlling that movement. Feel that squeeze in the glutes. Woo! And one more, hold and relax. So that is the reverse frog pump. Again, if you're using weights at home, go ahead. You can even put a band above the knees if you'd like, and then that'll add a little bit more tension just on the side of your legs there. But for the sake of this video, I'm just doing without any weights or bands, and we're gonna do it again. So remember, tuck in that pelvis. So you want your back to be completely flat, and come on up and down. Squeeze the glutes. 5. Control. 6. Feel the squeeze. 9. Last one here. And 10. Hold and relax. Woo. Again, we're going to get last one in, and then you guys are good to go. So remember, setting the shoulder blades back. You try not to look at the camera when you're doing this, or the screen, because I find when you lean, like you're turning your neck too much. So try to keep a neutral spine at all times. So I'm relaxing my forehead on my arms, and then I'm separating my knees, and again, feel that squeeze and come down. The most important part is the squeeze at the top. So try to stay up there as much as you can. You don't have to go at this pace. You can even hold it longer. Whatever works for you at home. 4 more. Woohoo! Good, last one. And squeeze. All right, let's sit into our bum, or I guess sit into our heels. Feel that stretch in our bum and stretch out those arms. Good. We just completed a quick booty exercise of the day. Let's round that spine. Good job, everyone. Whether you're starting your day or just finishing, I'm so glad you joined in. If you haven't liked and subscribed to my channel, please do, because I am going to be targeting specific muscle groups on a weekly basis. So I hope that you guys come along for the ride and really build those muscles. Booty, one of my favorites to work on. So anything targeting glutes is always in my menu of the week. So lift your chin up and tuck it in. Woo! All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you guys next time.